Yo, this is WSoul13 bringing you Raid Shadow Legends. And today, I want to talk about um, the guaranteed event. And I know everybody is a little bit miffed about that, right? And I understand why people are upset. So they've been hitting us with shard events this whole holiday season, you know. And the question now is, maybe I should show how many sacreds I have, so it brings things into context. I'm just taking a walk. Here's the deal, y'all. Why has Plarium done this? And if you watch my last video, you would know exactly what I think. And it's that Plarium has figured out that guaranteed sacreds is where the absolute best value has been this year. So even the weakest one of the four that they gave us this year, so we got Weethir, Kyoku, Sisha, and Nekmothar. Nekmothar actually has gotten an amazing kind of like upgrade, not because it was buffed or anything, but because somebody figured out how to use him in, I think, Hydra Boss. So, which was kind of like what everybody was thinking when they got him anyway, that he would be a great addition to Hydra Boss teams. But, you know, it's quite different than actually figuring out a way to break him, right? So, they broke him for Hydra Boss, and now he is absolutely one of the best Hydra Boss champs in the game. So, what is the main problem why people are having a hard time dealing with the 20 sacred shards, right? So, of course, it comes down to cost. And the cost is pretty insane, right? If you value sacred shards at about like $20, sacred shard, anywhere from $20 to $30 a sacred shard, 20 sacreds all of a sudden is looking something like $400. Although, you know, to be fair, if you're spending that much money on this game, I mean, come on now. You either have to be truly rich, or you have to figure out a different way to you have to figure out a different hobby, because that's out of control. So if you're rich and you can afford that, great. But if you can't, then you have a problem, right? You understand that, right? Okay. So, and I've seen a lot of the content creators basically go, okay, well, we're going to boycott. We're boycotting, right? So should you join the boycott if you're a low spender and you've actually saved up your 20 sacreds, and this is kind of like what you were waiting on, right? So first, let's talk about the champ, and then I'll talk about my opinion on a boycott. So the champ herself is really good. So her name is Elva Autumnborn, and she comes with a built-in plus 19 speed aura, right? But although plus 19 speed aura is not amazing, obviously we have Aikatun, she does the same thing. The thing that makes her different is really that she brings a cleanse that puts a block debuffs on and increase speed on. And I think she does a third meter boost, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it's a revive with a third meter boost. Okay, so that doesn't really do anything. And then heal buff on ally with the lowest HP. So it looks like she could be, this book sounds at 3-turn cooldown. So it's an increased speed, it's a cleanse, and a 30% speed buff. Where is the turn meter at? 10% place veil buff for 1 turn ally with the lowest HP. So I guess she doesn't really have a turn meter boost in her kit. Only in the revive. On that ally only. Okay. So most likely they're gonna turn that skill off. Continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP. That's always a pretty good A1. And this one is removes all buff, block buffs, increase speed buff on allies 2 turns. Heals ally 10% max HP at the start of their turn. Places a perfect Bale buff on the ally with the lowest HP at the end of this champion's turn. Okay. Alright, so I'm hearing rumblings of a possible 3-1, 3-1 clan boss team with Elva on the team, right? So having that cleanse will probably mean that the team is going to be affinity friendly. Cleanse with a block debuff, I mean that practically means it could be affinity friendly. 2-1 for sure. This is a 2-1 champ right here. I mean, you know, it's a 2-1 with a built-in cleanse. So there's gonna be a lot of comps that's gonna really go in here, and it's gonna be like, oh wow, this is gonna be a great team. In anything 2-1 or 3-1, you know, 3-1 is kind of like unheard of. There's basically no comps that do that, the 3-1 right now. Like the whole team goes 3-1. There may be some champs that go 3-1 every turn or so, every other turn or so, every other round or so, but not really a legitimate 3-1 comp that is extremely good. You know, it's usually 2-1 comps, and the reason why it's like that is because the champs you will need to pull off a 3-1 comp, they're usually used somewhere else, right? So I know Deadwood tried to pull that off before with like I think he had Sifi, Haikatun, and Arbiter on the team, which doesn't really leave you much room for any actual damage, you know. So you're just relying on War Master procs and all that, and counter attacks from accessories and masteries and all that. But really, she looks like she can be the basis of a traditional clan boss team that, you know, has but decreased attack on the team, and with the block debuffs that makes her affinity friendly. Okay, so she is a great champ. Is she worth 20 sacreds? I think objectively you could probably say no, she's not worth 20 sacred shards. Just because there are so much better options as clan boss right now if you've been playing this year. So if you have Helicash, there's almost no reason to get her, to be perfectly honest. There might be a comp with her down the line at Hydra Boss, right? Or maybe they release another champ, another guaranteed, another fusion champ that pairs well with her, and now you actually have a good 3-1 comp that's accessible to everybody. Great. All of that is great stuff. But Helicat, that's a 1-key archetype right there. You can build that up to a 1-key. There's really not much reason to go for Elva, right? So what would be the actual point of the boycott here, you know? So the boycott to me, it's not that it's disingenuous, but it just doesn't seem to have any bite to it. Because if you really think about it, right, this isn't like Dracomorph. So when they did the boycott over Dracomorph like years ago, when they gave it to whatever, Cartman or whatever, that felt like a real boycott. Not just because I also participated in that boycott, even though, you know, it was like a spending moratorium, and I never spent money on the game anyway. But like people were crunching their Dracos and their legendaries in protest. You know, that was a real organic, like, raid movement. This Elva one, I'm not gonna say it feels forced, but it doesn't have that same impact because Elva is not even a proven champ yet. I mean, she could be good, and if you've been saving up your 20 sacred shards to try and get Elva, you know, why would you hinder yourself from pulling her now? What? Because all the content creators are saying, oh, bad raid, bad Plarium? Here's the real deal. If you want to hurt Plarium, the only real way is to stop buying packs. That's it. And honestly, raid is so easy to play F2P right now that I don't know what the reason is anybody would spend money on this game other than, you know, they want to see the shinies and you know, not spend as much time. Although you could argue that no matter what you do, you're going to spend time on the game. So the game itself is extremely hard to learn. It takes a long time for you to understand how the mechanics work. So it doesn't really even matter if you're like, you know, if you're like one of these people and you're saying, well, you know, Raid is like exploitative. Raid is exploitative. Of course it is. It's a game with a built-in gambling mechanic. If you don't understand that it's a game with a built-in gambling mechanic, and you may or may not have a gambling problem, you know, I'm not gonna say that's on you. Of course, it is exploitative. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna like bring a coalition together and what? Shut this game down? What good does that actually do? For reals, like so. This idea of people like, oh, you've gone too far this time, Plarium. You added 5 more Sacreds on top of 15. 15 is far enough, right? So if you're thinking about the chances of pulling a legendary, right, 8%, if they quote-unquote really wanted to make it fair, they need to lock that in. So buy your whatever, 15 Sacred, instead of a mercy system, you're supposed to just get the guaranteed legendary right there. If they really want to solve the gambling problem in Raid, just put a clear number right there, boom, you get your legendary, right? But they're never going to do that because that's how they make money. So in my opinion, really, if you've been saving your 20 Sacred Shards and you want her, and she is actually not a bad investment. I mean, I wouldn't argue as far as, you know, she is worth the 20 Sacred Shards. Of course, it's very hard to go to that level when we had Wheater at 15, we had Nekmothar at 15, we had Kyoku at 15, we had Sisha at 12, you know. So Helior was terrible at 15. I mean, that's like a terrible value for 15. Elva would be amazing for 15. She would be like top tier for 12. You know, for 12, she'd be like one of the best guaranteed champs ever. For 20, because they're stretching the cost so much, she kind of becomes maybe good. Maybe if you have something in mind for her, or if you actually saved up all your Sacreds for her. I have enough to get her because I don't really participate in a lot of the shard pulling events, and that's the way you should play the game. Honestly, the game should be played more like that, more like you just grinding the game out with the comps that I've shown you on this channel, right? Get your F2P Trinity, get through the game, get through the comps, learn the dungeons, right? That's gonna go a long way versus just pulling random, oh, God tier champ, God tier champ. Like, you don't even know how to use that God tier champ, bro. If we're gonna be honest, like, your God tier champ is useless if you don't know how to maximize that's quote unquote God tier champ. Like, when I got Draco the first time I got him, one of the reasons why I didn't use him was because of the Cartman fiasco, right? So the community was in uproar because of the Cartman fiasco, and that actually fueled my initial desire to not use legendaries playing Raid because of that Cartman thing. Actually, that was one of the things that really struck me as, okay, well, they messed up, and I want to chime in and like pile on, you know, and it did lead to some great things on the account. So I was able to do amazing things on the account early on when it was deemed impossible to be done. So it just needed somebody like me to want to try to break the game, right? And I did it. So what's different now? I think the main difference now is that the game is just so much more advanced now, right? One, Plarium has already made their money. So there's like almost nothing you can do to bring that back. Second is that the game is in an advanced stage anyway. So anything that Plarium is squeezing out of Raid right now is actually to them money on the house, right? So you could argue that they're driving this game to the ground or whatever. Maybe that's all true, but at the same time, in terms of like a product life cycle, Raid has definitely gone past the life cycle, right? it is what it is. It's still successful. And the reason why it's successful is because of this, the aesthetic. Look at that. That's amazing, right? No other game really comes close to this kind of aesthetic. So, I would love to go in solidarity with all of y'all. But to me, I feel like this account now is more about like stacking guaranteed champs, right? So if I skip out on a guaranteed champ like this, of this quality, especially when I have the resources to actually do it, it actually not just kind of like hurts my account or whatever, because like my account can already do whatever I wanted to do, except in an arena, obviously, right? So the account itself can already do whatever I wanted to do. I just want to show people that it shouldn't be just about like saving shards or whatever, but that should be a big component of your game. The biggest component of your game should be saving shards, right? You got a diamond hand, bro. Diamond hand, bro. Why you gotta this? And when you do diamond hand, you gotta pick the right spot to spend it. This would be a spot to spend it, right? So Elva is good enough to have hope for. Okay, so I save my shards. I get to 15. I get Elva, and you're here. You're 5 sacred shards because you did predict that they would go to 20. Well, you know, if you did go for her anyway, and you had 15, and it was 15, and you went to 0, and they put a amazing fusion champ 2 weeks later, you might be SOL anyway if you don't have the other shards to back it up. That's why I really like having your shards look a lot like this. Your mysteries and your ancients should almost always be low, but your voids and your sacred should almost always be high, waiting for the opportunity to crack, right? So voids, they've done the void sacred, they've done the void guaranteed legendary thing. So what would be the escalation from Plarium's side on this, right? If they get the green light. So this is the fear. The fear is people pull, they get the green light, and they just keep it like this forever. So all the guaranteed will be like 20 sacreds or whatever. For me, the main reason why I would want to get this particular one is for faction wars for this script, and then secondarily would be like a clan boss comp that maybe someone out there will break for us at some point. That would be kind of like the pros and cons for this. The pros and cons would be great for clan boss. Obviously, she's going to be amazing for faction wars. So, you know, I'm going to pull, and then if y'all don't like that, I'm sorry, but I think that is the best thing to do for this account in particular, right? You do what you do for your account, but I think for this account, it's a good idea to pull. So we're going to pull, and let's see what we got. Okay, Jurojin, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I really feel like that people are just looking for an excuse to quit raid, you know. And personally, right? Personally, if you're looking for an excuse to quit raid, you should just quit now, right? The game is not for you anymore. And I'm not just saying that because, oh, you know, Beast Feeder. Yeah, this always reads wrong to a lot of people, including me. I always read that wrong. But like if you're thinking about quitting raid anyway, you should just quit now. What would be the point of sick? Hello. What would be the point of like? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know whose dog that is.
Hey, doggy. Good doggy. Okay. I guess I would call that a occupational hazard. So we got rudely interrupted there by my battery dying, but we're gonna do the rest of the summons right now, and we'll see what we get. So we're at number 4. We didn't get any legendaries, right? So I saw like a big counterpoint to doing this was like, well, it's Sacred 2X to like a couple of weeks from now or next week or whatever. Oh, Rearguard. She was actually really useful for me coming up in the game. So, you know, I'm kind of glad that she's there. So, Seeker. Wow. So Seeker actually is
like a 2-to-1 comp by himself in a way. I mean, you'd have to do some stuff to make it work, but definitely Seeker by himself enables that comp. And what do we got? Cage Breaker. That's crap. Okay, so we're doing okay, like moderately well, I guess. I don't know if they did a summon rush for this particular one. I didn't actually check. And I am going down from whatever 47 sacreds to 27 sacreds, so it's not quite a big loss for me. Theresk. I feel like this is a newer champ, isn't it? Oh, this is one of those decreased resistance champs. Alright. Well, we haven't found a good use for a decreased resistance yet. We got Ignatius! Is this my second one? It is my second one. Oh my gosh. Well, good. So I got a legendary after 10 pulls. Not bad. So I get 2. Right? So it's a guaranteed. If I get 1 more, that would be really great. That would put me a little bit over the mark in terms of like, it's about 1 to 10. So it's actually, what? 1 to 6. Is it 1 to 16? I'm trying to figure it out what the ratio is. Oh, this is Vildrax. Vildrax was a fusion champ they did a while ago. But Ignatius, that would be my second one. So that would give me a faction guardian for, what is that? Demon Spawn? Is that Demon Spawn or Undead? I feel like. What do we got here? Thylesia, good. And Hexia. Who is this? Is this a newer champ, or have we always had Hexia? I feel like we've always had her because she doesn't have Hex on her, which would be, appropriate, right? Yeah. If I don't get another legendary here, I mean, it would be a little bit terrible. Like, so I got 2 legendaries out of 20 sacred. So it's slightly over the going rate, right? It's 8%. So it's supposed to be like 1 point something legendaries. Okay, I think this is the last one, and I am gonna get what's her face right now? Elva. This is gonna be Elva. Alright, cool. So we got Elva. Nice. I'm actually not that upset by that. And there is no summon rush, I think, that went with it. No summon rush. I don't think we did a champ chase to go along with it. Yeah, not really. So everybody that's kind of like perturbed on the Elva guaranteed champ event, I kind of agree that it is not a great event. And the main reason why I pulled was I was going months and months and months now without pulling sacreds. So this would be a great time for somebody like that to pull sacreds, even if it's 20. And let's do the faction guardian thingy. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? Of this kind of stuff is you get some dupes or whatever, and you get extra stats. So stats really is the name of the game. Is it? Is Ignatius? No. Is he undead? What is he? Or is he Ogre Tribe? Let's try Ogre Tribe. Oh, yeah. He is Ogre Tribe. Cool. There we go. So, I think in closing, I feel like this was a decent event. It wasn't the best event. It was pretty... it's pretty calm as an event. I feel like people should come to terms with a lot of their gambling addictions. That really is the main problem that Raid and all these freemium games are picking at, and it's the one conversation that no content creator really wants to bring up, because It's a taboo thing to say. I get it. And I'm not even sure I want to bring it up because I don't really have a solution anyway. Because like 90% of 80% of life is managing addictions, right? So addicted to food, you're addicted to cigarettes, you're addicted to porn, you're addicted to games, right? So, and for some people, that addiction is going to the gym. The endorphins you get from going to the gym. You know, you become a sex addict, whatever. Endorphins released there too. So what is the point really? The point is a lot of people are going through it silently, right? And I'm not saying, oh, you know, turn to me because I have the answers. I don't have the answers. I don't think anybody really has the concrete answers that we need, because if we did, we wouldn't see the fentanyl deaths that we see in America right now, right? So you need to figure out what's the deal here. Why do you even play this game? Why do you spend all that money playing this game? That is a personal question, and you need to ask yourself that at some point. Because if you're disturbed by your inability to get Elva or whatever because of the 20 Sacreds thing, right? I don't know. Why should you be that disturbed? Because like, we had Helicath this year, so Helicath is basically what Elva would do in Clan Boss if they break Elva in Clan Boss. Now, we had Necmo Thar, and Necmo is very, very similar to what Elva will do for Hydro Boss, right? So I don't know. I don't know why people are so upset about missing out on this. Maybe you missed out on Helicath. Maybe you missed out on Necmo. Maybe you missed out on all the other great guaranteed legendaries we had this year from Sacreds. You know, We Fear, Kyoku, Sisha. Those names are big names, you know. And it comes down to what I've been saying since the last video, since 2 videos ago, 3 videos ago, is that Plarium has figured out guaranteed champs are offering way too much value. It's just, the value's insane for these guaranteed champ events, you know. And if you were out there trying to figure out, hey, should I wait for a guaranteed champ event? I feel like the ship may have sailed because they figured it out. They figured out, okay, 15 was too low, even though 15 was already too high. In my opinion, 15 was high. When they first did this for Helior, I remember this. I explicitly said no because I thought 15 was too high, and I didn't have 15 at the time, I don't think. So it's like, who is that for? When you're free to play and you're in your low spender, because that's going to be mostly my audience, it's going to be free to play or low spender. Your goal is just to get Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, right? Once you're humming doing Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss every day, you're kind of set, you know? You can play in these events. Like, I just did it right now. You can play a fusion event. I mean, this year, I don't think it's possible for people to play every single fusion event this year, because Raid has also restructured that, because last year, most of the value was in the fusion events. This year, most of the value was in the guaranteed event. Next year, I don't know, they kind of burned both bridges now, right? So they burned the guaranteed champ bridge, and they burned the fusion bridge in a way, because now you can't do every fusion. So what are people gonna do in between just farming dungeons or farming Clan Boss? I feel like everybody should just farm Clan Boss and Faction Wars, and then the dungeon farming, they should just leave that up to when fusion events are online. But you know, everybody plays however they want to play, and I'm not here to lecture or preach or whatever. This is not a lecture or preaching video. This is just me pulling my shards, and this is me saying, hey, content creators want to boycott. I don't want to participate in the boycott, because I feel like if you really want to boycott Plarium, stop buying packs. That's it.